Why Cape Town though? When you say lifestyle up against Joburg for money, what? I know obviously, I mean, what you're saying, I can understand it, but give us a breakdown of that and what was your experience?
Well, Johannesburg's the business capital of Africa. You know, South Africa is, I still think, the biggest economy in Africa, and Johannesburg being the sort of business capital, there was a lot of business industry, a lot of people there that needed investment advice. The lifestyle was more in Cape Town because it's a bit more laid back. It's more of a holiday destination. And so choosing Cape Town, I think, was a big conscious decision for me to say, well, there's business there and there's an opportunity, but I also want to enjoy myself. You know, if it was a choice of going somewhere just for work, that perhaps wouldn't have been as appealing. And so Cape Town was a great introduction. It was a good office. There was a good group of people there. You're right, a lot of them did take a gamble and returned home. Perhaps they hadn't quite made it for whatever reason. But for me, it was work hard, but also enjoy everything that Cape Town offers. And I talk very fondly to everyone about South Africa. It's a beautiful country. It's got everything as far as I'm concerned. It's climate, it's got beaches, mountains, forests. It's got the desert, the Karoo. It's got food, the wine. The lifestyle's brilliant. There are problems, you know, like anywhere, there are problems in South Africa, but opportunity is still there. And I go back 2 or 3 times a year to see clients, and I love it. It's like going home in a way. Johannesburg is a big, busy city, and I think there's still a massive opportunity there. Yeah. But Cape Town offers that balance. And there's a word that actually is quite new to me, which is semi-gration. A lot of people are moving from Johannesburg, from Gauteng, which is the province, down to Cape Town. So they're seeing that they want to stay in South Africa, but they don't want to stay in Joburg anymore. And there's a lot moving down to the Western Cape where Cape Town is.
So I'm going to ask you the question then. Sounds amazing living in Cape Town. You set up a business, it was going well. Why leave? Because you're now in France.
Yeah. It was a tough decision. It was a long decision that was in the making from my wife and I. And she's Cape Townian. You know, her family are there. It was more a case of where's the opportunity going to be for our daughters in the future. And without getting into the politics of it, South Africa does have issues around, it's called BEE, Black Empowerment and so on. We just thought that perhaps being back in Europe, being closer to the UK, to my family, her brother lives in the UK as well. So yeah, it was a decision that we both made to say, let's put a date in the future. I think my eldest was 4 when we left. And let's get back to Europe. It's a bit more first world. It's a bit more perhaps opportunity here for them to go to good schools, good universities. And I can get back and see my folks as often as I can here. You know, it's a long flight to Cape Town, 11 hours into Heathrow. It's a long flight. From here, it's maybe an hour. So all those sort of factors played in to us making the decision. It wasn't an overnight decision. It was, it's a bit cheesy to say, but we had, back in 2018, we put in our 2020 vision, which is let's leave in 2020. And then, of course, the pandemic hit in the sort of Jan, Feb, March. And that affected our timing a little bit, but we still left Cape Town in 2020.
So when you were in Africa, were you just dealing with expat clients that were based in Cape Town, or were you traveling around Africa? I know you were in Ghana for a bit, but like, what was it like seeing clients, and did the pandemic impact that in any way at all?
Yeah, massively. Yeah. So pre-COVID, it was face-to-face. And at the previous company I worked with, we were sort of restricted to the city you lived in, so Cape Town. So I had a lot of clients in and around Cape Town, then up to Ghana, met a few new clients up there, and then back to Cape Town. And that's where we started again. But then running my own business, we had free reign as to where we were going to advise clients. So some in Durban, some up in Joburg, and then a pocket up in Kenya. That was quite an interesting situation that arose. Got a phone call one day. I was referred to somebody. There was a group of expats that lived up in Kenya that needed some help. So I started going up there. And I have to say, Nairobi is a nice city. I like it. It's bustling. It's busy, but it's got a charm to it. And Kenya as a country, you know, I said to my wife that I've been going to Kenya now for about a year. I don't know much about it. So we went together on holiday. And I have to say that the diversity of Kenya, you've got the coastline, the Indian Ocean down near. We went to a place called Diani Beach, and I'll never forget how beautiful it was. It's a bit like, I suppose, the Seychelles or somewhere like that. And then you've got the Mara, or the game reserves there. And then you've got, I suppose, the mountains if you go further up towards Kilimanjaro. You know, there's so many different areas that you can explore. And one of the big differences I saw between West Africa, the Ghana, the Nigeria, versus Kenya was expats in the West were there for work. Expats in Kenya were there for work, but also the lifestyle. They were choosing to live there. And I found that really interesting, you know, for Africa. And so, yeah, that was our journey from maybe about 2014, 15 up until we left. So for those 5 or 6 years, traveling around Africa, planes, trains and automobiles. And then the pandemic hit. And in a positive way, that meant a lot of my meetings went online. And that was a completely different perspective for me to deal with clients on a laptop, on a computer, instead of face-to-face. But actually, it enables you to do more meetings, perhaps give better advice in a way. You know, if I had to fly up to Kenya and see somebody, I might see them for an hour once here and there, 6 weeks later, the same. On a Teams call now, you could do it Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday and be finished at the end of the week. So that had a positive impact, if anything.